Hello everyone, I'm Kako Chrissy. Welcome back to my channel. Let's start with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Starting today, I will be introduce you to Longshan Jade. The Longshan culture existed around 5,000 to 4,000 years ago, lasting roughly about 1,000 years. This was the before the Xia Dynasty, which considered the first Chinese dynasty. According to quite many ancient textbooks, this period, Longshan period, was often referred to as the Jade Age. Why is the Jade Age? In the Western world, our human development is divided into Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, blah, 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 until today, those AI Age. But in China, between the Stone Age and the Bronze Age, there was a Jade Age. Some scholars believe it's overlapping with the Bronze Age, which is making Longshan culture as a period was mixed with bronze and jade. They are coexisted. So why it is called the Jade Age? Simply because jade was used for almost everything, from the tools to farming, to clear the land, and even to ceremony object. But at first, jade was used like a practical usage, just like a stone. It's kind of a harder stone. But over the time, a certain jade item was taken out from the daily usage and became for ceremony object. Things like you see in the museum, blade, axe, and ritual ornamental, those stuff. I have to say, even before Longshan culture, jade, we know from Hongshan and Liangzhu culture, jade was already deeply tied to ritual ceremonies. We see this early on. But during those Longshan culture, because there was a productive improvement, they used the copper tools. This craftsmanship reached a high level. Besides, they got a lot of tons of jade material, plus the copper and the early bronze tools. They make this jade carving more advanced than ever before. Later on, I will show you some pieces. So delicate, detailedly made. In the older days, if people only depend on the stone to carve out the jade, that could be impossible. So we have to think that the copper or the early bronze is already be used as the tool to use to make a jade. Although this is the Jade Age, our far ancestors achieved so many beautiful stuff, but we know so little about it. Why? There is many historical reasons you could name, but I think two major ones are standing out. The first one is a massive flood wiped out almost everything. Archaeologists find out around 1970 BC, be careful, this is the BC, not the 1970, this is close to us. a legendary flood devastated the Yellow River region, wiping out 99% of our population. It started with a massive earthquake that shook loose entire mountains along the river. Huge boulders fall into the Yellow River, created a natural dam. For about 6 to 9 months, the scholars find out the river was completely blocked. We know the Yellow River that means yellow, they carry a lot of mud. So the mud is sealed all the seams, make a perfect dam there. So after loose flowing, the river was blocked for 6 to 9 months. And then one day, the river was completely blocked. And then what happened? One day, the dam burst. The water flows rush out with unmanageable force, washing away entirely settlement and their achievement. In another way, we have to say they wash out the old civilization in the Neolithic time, especially around, it's happened in Longshan time. Archaeologists find after this legend flood, they find out some Longshan site after this flood, but there's much, much smaller in scale. And in the tomb, they buried it with just 1 or 2 pieces of jade. That's why they couldn't figure out how the Longshan Jade look like. You only find 1 or 2 pieces in the tomb. It's kind of tell you much about it. So the first thing we have to say, this massive water flood wash out the original Longshan civilization. Although they have achieved so much more sophisticated than we could think about it. And the second reason I want to mention is the last 40 years of development. You know, in the past 4,000 years, Chinese culture on this productive material-wise, farming-wise, really didn't change much. So people live on land generations after generations. It's nothing can compare with the last 40 years. The whole region, the whole country was being dug up. Road was being built, and houses. Because of the modern machines, they dug things much deeper than the ancient time. Not to mention those tomb robbers. Let's say in Shandong province, in the east side, along the coast side, which is where Longshan culture was named. It's a very important region, but it was heavily looted. Almost all entire ancient tomb was robbed. Unfortunately, only one tiny, about 5 centimeter long white jade, only this piece has been officially recorded with its exhibited details. Where it is found, how it is found, what's the size, take pictures. And everything else, gone. Those lost jade, very few lucky ones made their way to museums here, there, around the world, including private collections. But it's because it's so minimum, so small number of them, people don't recognize them, what they are. And majority of them, guess what? Just floating around here, around you. Look around. If you know what you are looking for, you can find them. And then let's talk about how much scholarly research have been done on Longshan Jade. Not many, really not many. Among this scholarly world, people do research focus on Longshan Jade. Unfortunately, this is still like a virtual land. You know that reward Jade expert Yang Boda, he's supposed the number one in China. He described Longshan Jade. He says the world is like a sky full of stars, vast and scattered everywhere. He recognized this Longshan Jade in his research into 5 or 6 large regions. Unfortunately, he divided them by the different regions, but he did not give you any details how they are different from different regions and how we should recognize them. Few pieces of Longshan Jade he listed in his that's Chinese jade big books is lumped together, mixed together without detail. And later on, Deng Shuping, the curator from Taiwan Palace Museum, she made a big contribution to make this very complicated Longshan Jade into a simple form. She divided the Longshan Jade into 2 major categories, which is the east side and the west side. This makes the research more structured and simple. So I'm very grateful for the stepping stone she paved for us. And I think for the Western jade lovers, I will introduce you through Deng Shuping's approach. Make a jade divided from the Western Longshan Jade and the Eastern Longshan Jade. This is the what I wrote in my first Longshan Jade. It's about it, divided from west to the east. Why we divided west to east actually is makes sense. You know, in the Chinese land, in the China, the big land was divided by those geographically. The western side is a mountainy, hilly, highland, and the east side is mainly flat, where people do those land cultivation, agriculture. So by this geographic dividing line, the culture shows a different face. This one, we concentrate on this book, divided Longshan culture into the west and the east. Later, I will show you piece by piece. And after I finished my first book, I started thinking, because the more I studied the Longshan Jade, I think that's not enough. We need more detail research on how we can see this piece came from, east we understand, west we understand, from the big area of east side, which piece does it belong to? We need to do more research. So over the years, I find some scholars, not so many actually, did a good researches, but unfortunately, their research is like a one sentence, two sentence. I think, wow, that's sparkling, that's great. Unfortunately, you can't find further to weave their research together to present you a big picture, although at our stage it can't be so detailed, but at least weave those researchers' achievement, weave them together based on how we understand the jade to present you a Longshan Jade. That's what I did in this revised and updated my book. I divided the western region, although it's simple, and further into 3 regions. And the east side, I divided into 5 different regions. This book is kind of filling up where Yang Boda left over. Divided this Longshan Jade, described them as the sky full stars. Yes, it is. It's a beautiful star. There's a lot of different things, but we need to find out more close to which this piece come from. So that is my second book about it. So, here is too far to remove this book from this video yet. This is not done yet. It's ongoing work. The more I study, the more I'm stunned almost every day to find out, oh my God, they call the Jade Age is true. They have such beautiful, delicate pieces there. And we can't duplicate it today. I have to tell you, even today, even in the museums, they listed some piece like early 20th century or 19th century. I have an idea. After we studied Longshan Jade, and then we will reach there, we will see, is that right? We know so little about it, but based on Jadeology, which I propose, we have to listen to Jade, to learn from Jade. Yes, we learn from the past scholars. Yes, we learn from the museum, the catalogers. But our standing point must go back to the physical jade piece. How we read the jade piece, follow the first step checking point, which is where I use the every pieces. From each jade, we read out some information. We add to our knowledge. Let's say it's a new material we don't know. Yes, we add on to our knowledge. The majority to the difficulty read Longshan Jade is by the design. because of the design so intricate, so beautiful, we don't have enough actually on this side to focus on this design to read into the Jade piece. This kind of a study, almost none yet. Hayashi Minao did some research according to the design to read to Jade, to the culture is around in the Han Dynasty. He and his student did a wonderful work on how to read design to present that dynasty. Unfortunately, it's very ahead of our time. People hasn't realized how important that is. Started from here, we will build up our knowledge based on Jade pieces, followed by our 4-point check system. The reason I called it the formula, the system, is if you know, you learn it, you can duplicate it, you can use. That's all Jade study about it. It's not only by the pieces I show you, by how to identify it, how to read it, how to listen to Jade, we can present the world with a whole wide picture. Probably is totally different from what we have been told. Yes. Practice this the method. This is the method you can use on your own. You can build on your own knowledge. Okay, let's stop here. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you next time.